All right, but we begin this hour in Nashville, where police have released body camera footage from yesterday's deadly elementary school shooting.
This comes as surveillance footage of the shooter arriving at the school is also being released. Of course, we want to warn all viewers that these videos are extremely disturbing. The police body camera footage shows officers arriving at the school looking for the suspect, 28-year-old Audrey Hale. Hale entered the school around 10 in the morning before eventually being shot and killed at the scene. CBS News is still working to confirm the shooter's gender identity. Law enforcement says Hale was a former student of the Covenant School, which teaches preschool through 6th grade.
Now, 6 people were killed in the attack. 3 of the victims were 9-year-old kids. CBS News spoke with Nashville's mayor earlier today, and he commented on this cycle of deadly shootings spreading now to his community.
We've had challenges, disasters in Nashville, but I think this was our worst day. This moment where you realize that your own school children in your schools have been subject to a mass event.
Lana Zak is joining us now from the ground there in Nashville. Lana, of course, it's hard to even, imagine that there's anything but grief and shock. But can you tell us what you're hearing from this community in your reporting? What are people telling you?
Hey, Lilia and Errol. Grief, shock, anger, deep wells of sadness all across Nashville right now. Not just from people who knew the 6 victims, but also people who just feel like their community is broken at this moment. And it's interesting in talking to people here that there seems to be about half of people who felt like this can happen anywhere, and it was just a matter of time before gun violence found its way into a school here in Nashville, and others who felt like they'd seen it on TV, they've seen all of us covering this in other places, but kind of felt like it couldn't possibly happen in this affluent, faith-based, close-knit community. But in addition to sort of what the Nashville community at large are feeling in this moment, I've also been speaking with a lot of students who not just went to school here, but went to schools in Nashville, who in those moments where they learned about an active shooter were forced to hunker down. And I spoke with 15-year-old Cayman Broom. Here's what he had to say.
When you got the news that your school was undergoing lockdown, that there was a school shooter at the school that's just a little bit away from here, explain for us how that felt.
It kind of sinks your soul a little bit, because it's like, did I just wake up for the last time? Am I living my last hours? I don't know what's going on around me, so please help me.
Wow.
I just need some type of action to be taken to, I mean, you can try to stop it, but at least mellow it down. Because...
What do you mean mellow it down?
Like, it seems like this is happening. Oh, it's like something different every month. Somebody else's school, some other person doing something for some reason.
There's
to
several,
kids, to children.
Every month, school shootings. There's about 1 school shooting a week in the U.S.
That's not okay at all. And to know that all that's gotten 3 miles away from me isn't very comforting at all.
Now, when I should just mention that when the statistics about 1 school shooting a week does not necessarily mean mass shootings, but nonetheless, listening to that teen Cayman talking about how he thought, maybe I just woke up for the last time. That's something that educators are trying to reconcile, parents are trying to reconcile, the trauma that this is doing to students who are worried every time they hear about one of these shootings that next time it could be them. And there's been about a half a dozen vigils already held here. They are emotional. I attended one last night. But a lot of them are also stoic as people are trying to pull in and make sense of what is ultimately something that is absolutely senseless.
Yeah.
It's such a good point, Lana, and it's difficult to imagine what it's like to be folks in that community right now. But as the investigation gets underway, as we now see not just the security video from inside the school, but body cam footage from the police officers who took down the shooter, what's new on that front? Because we understand this school didn't have a resource officer, an armed individual, to protect the community in the first place. So what's new on the investigation?
That's a really good point, Errol, and that may be part of what investigators are looking at, and people who are now trying to understand how to better protect schools will be looking at, because otherwise this school really did everything that they were supposed to do, that they were told they were supposed to do. There were no extra entrances or exits. No place was propped open. They had those double doors. But ultimately, with those assault-style weapons, that shooter was able to just bust through those. The body camera footage that you just showed of the officers showed officers jumping into command, taking control, doing everything textbook. And as you're watching that, you're seeing those little jackets hanging up in the hallway. You're seeing bulletin boards with kids' smiling faces on it, and you can't reconcile that image with the image of those police officers going through there and trying to do everything that they can to save every one of those lives, and ultimately still 6 people died. So we're learning from the investigation that it is ongoing. They do not know what the motive is yet. We caution anybody about speculating about the motive. They did find that that there were 2 other weapons in Hale's parents' home, and that there were possibly other targets that were planned, including family members, and even potentially a mall here in Nashville. Thank God that didn't happen, but nonetheless, that is not a consolation for the 6 families that have lost their loved ones today. So as people are continuing to try and understand the motive and the investigation is ongoing, one of the things that we just see is that everything essentially was done by the book. Things were done right. This was not like Uvalde. This was people all trying to do the right thing, and it's still having these tragic consequences.
Remarkable to think that as bad as it is, it still could have been worse
Oh, yes,
if the
certainly.
shooter was able to accomplish other killings. Lana Zak, on the ground for us, thank you so much.